Hello folks, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. So this episode, One Piece 958, is another big one with a lot of reveals, and it continues the epic world building in One Piece before we make our way into Wano at 3. Obviously, the last episode was all about the Shichibukai. This episode is all about the Yonko and the Hyper God. Back to the last episode, because I said it was one of the best episodes we've gotten. I didn't think a lot of people would follow suit with that statement because a lot of people like this chapter a lot more when it came out in the manga. I think differently. I think the chapter we got previously, the episode we got previously, was a lot better because it revealed so much that could go down after Wano. I understand why people like this episode and they probably like this episode and probably like this chapter a lot more. It's because it's significant because we finally get the bounties revealed for the Yonko, as well as because it ties into what's going on right now. Huge information when it comes to the past of what we found in this episode, but yeah, understandably so. The 957 was one of the best episodes we've gotten at One Piece in a long time, and not only just because of the art style, the animation that they're using for the world building episodes, but also because, primarily speaking, it's due to the content. It's like Oda put it down there, and it hit for a lot of One Piece fans, so that's great. This episode was no different, even though the animation wasn't as over the top as what we got last episode. The information was pretty much just as significant as what we found out. And it starts off at Marine HQ with a conversation with Fujitora and Akainu. The last time we got that was at Dressrosa, which, primarily speaking, the reason why Fujitora did what he did and kept what Doflamingo did a secret to the Navy is so they couldn't cover it up. So it's more of a continuation there because here Fujitora gets what he wants. The Shichibukai system's been abolished. They're no more. And Akainu says you must be pleased with that. And even though it's going to cost us big, as we're going to find out, the reason why is because the Marines have found out about the alliance with Big Mom and Kaido. But Fujitora comes up with an interesting quote. It says, "Justice comes with a price." So we know what Fujitora is all about. But even, he says, the Shichibukai, the warlords of the sea, it's no more. So we know they're going to be hunted down. I'm not worried for Boa Hancock and Mihawk, but Fujitora isn't confident about that because they are losing one of the great three powers. But Fujitora is confident in the new SSG system that the Marines have got. So the Navy Special Science Group. We know for a fact that the last time, so back at the Reverie, when Fujitora was talking to Green Bull, he spoke about the Shichibukai. He says we don't need them anymore because we've got this new invention from Vegapunk, and I guess this is what it is because they're very confident in this. It's whatever power it has, whatever abilities it has, it transcends what the seven Shichibukai did. So that's something interesting. So they're pretty confident in that. And we actually get a shot of Fujitora with bandages this time, unlike last week where he was completely fine. So I'm guessing that was past tense. But it just shows with Fujitora wearing the bandages, he's showing the effects of what went down with the Revolutionary Army commanders. Like we found out last episode that something bad happened to Sabo. So it just shows that something serious went down at Marajoa. Kind of makes you wonder what happened with Green Bull. We haven't seen him since the Reverie. Kind of makes you wonder also because we saw cannon fires being shot at Fujitora's ship, but we don't know where they're heading. So it could be to one of the Shichibukai's islands right now. It could be Boa Hancock's. We don't know. Like I said in the previous episode review, like if you're going to hope to capture the one of the Shichibukai, you better have an admiral, at least an admiral. Focus goes right over to where we see Sengoku, and we see the Marines talking about the union of Big Mom and Kaido. And I think it's kind of obvious two things happened here because nobody outside of X-Drake and Kobe should know about this because X-Drake is the only one on Wano who's a member of SWORD. Kobe's a member of SWORD, but we saw Kobe trying to hide away from other Marines. So either Kobe told Akainu what was going on, or there's a possibility that Akainu is a member of SWORD as well, because how else would he know? Or the fact the Marines did what they did before, during the reverie. They had the communications and they listened in on Kaido and Big Mom. Of course, they did that deliberately because not worrying about the Marines or the world government at all. That could be what happened as well, but I just find that interesting, like how the Marines knew this so soon. But it's a problem, and so Sengoku's there to give us exposition on not only what happened in what's going on with Big Mom and Kaido, why this is so significant. We know Big Mom and Kaido are in the same group. They were called the Rocks Pirates. We get more information on the Rocks Pirates as well as their captain and most of the big top tier pirates that are on that crew. Find out about this incident that took place 38 years ago at God Valley. The God Valley it was known as the God Valley incident. So a lot of Marines clashed with the Rocks Pirates, and they're described as pretty much. We found out that God was there who took them down, but we later find out he's not the only one that was at God Valley that defeated the Rocks Pirates. That's where they were defeated. I did find it interesting. We got some action scenes, but we got no appearance of the key crew members that were mentioned. So first off, we find out that Big Mom and Kaido were part of that crew. We knew that already. We also found out the captain. Also found out that Whitebeard also part of this crew. Now keep in mind, Sengoku just brings this point up that when Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard were a part of the Rocks, they were nowhere near as strong as what they are now. So just imagine that the significance of three of the four Yonko would end up on the same pirate crew. So obviously this is taken back by a lot of Marines. But according to Sengoku, the information we get about the Rocks is in search of money and wealth, pretty much. And interesting when Sengoku brings up the fact that there are other pirates besides Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, who are also part of the Rocks pirates, as well as the Captain Rocks, but they hype it up like Shiki was a member, the Golden Lion. If you don't remember, he's obviously a part of Strong World. He was also mentioned pre-time skip to be the only person besides Luffy to escape Impel Down of Captain John. And if you don't remember him, he was pretty much a reanimation of Moria and Hotchback back in Thriller Bark. So it's amazing how Oda has these characters who seem like throwaway end up being an important character. Like this original pirate as a part of that crew is crazy. Reveal that Garp was one of the people that took them down is hype enough in itself. Like we knew Garp was strong, but I think a lot of people slept on Garp until this chapter came out, and I think the same is going to be said for the episode and the anime. Only fans like holy crap! Wait, so Garp had the power to take. Stands out about the Captain Rocks. We found out that his full name is Rocks D. Zebek. So he's a D, much like Garp and Goldie Roger was. So the fact they highlighted that and the fact they claim that he's dead, I'm not so sure because they wouldn't have name dropped that if it won't have some type of significance in the present. I guarantee it's going to have some connection to what's going on right now with a member of Rocks or somebody else. A young Kaido, a young Big Mom. By the way, we're talking loosely, we're very young. But we've seen Big Mom skinny before, so that's not surprising. And also a young Whitebeard. That's crazy. And it makes you wonder what he would have been capable of at Marineford. So, yeah, now we know that it's obvious he could have killed Akainu at any point. Why Garp doesn't bring this up and why the newspapers kept this shut is because of, number one, we found out this Tenryubito celestial dragons were on God Valley. They were rescued by Garp. We also found out he teamed up with a pirate to take them down. So that's one reason why they didn't want this new information out. Another is because there's an interesting theory as to why Garp, despite his power, never became a fleet admiral, because he obviously had tendencies to become a great fleet admiral. He obviously had the power, but he never became a fleet admiral. And the reason was because he would have had to answer to the celestial dragons, which we know he doesn't like. So even Sengoku brings that up. So no, he doesn't like the Tenryubito. So that's one reason. Another is because the fact that he teamed up with a pirate, and we come to find out that pirate is Gold D. Roger. So that is huge that a pirate and a Marine teamed up to take down the Rocks. So that's crazy. But I think it's definitely foreshadowing. Like maybe a Marine and Luffy teaming up in the future. I think that could be something that happens, but Monkey D. Garp and Gold D. Roger teamed up, so I don't think that's a coincidence at all. That took place 38 years ago, so the Rocks got defeated. We know Kaido and Big Mom and Whitebeard survived. According to Sengoku, though, Rock's Zebek ended up dying, apparently. So found out like his goal was not to become king of the pirates, to become king of the world, which I think is interesting because it immediately hits back to when Kaido was talking down to Luffy after he one-shotted him. He said, "What kind of pirate did you say you were going to be?" And I think that struck a nerve because now we know that Kaido's former captain wanted to become the king of the world, not just king of the pirates, king of the world. So does that also mean he wanted the throne that Imo-sama had? I think that's very interesting. The fact that celestial dragons were also involved in this, yeah, that definitely raises some eyebrows. Going to Sengoku, he gives us a lot of information, but the primary fact, the fact that God Valley is no longer there, so that it can't be traced down. Although the Sengoku said that God Valley is no longer there anymore, it's no longer on the map, they literally show a shot of God Valley. You wouldn't have shown that, or at least Oda would not have shown that, if it's not going to be come back to at some point, because why would you reveal something that's destroyed? So I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to it at some point. I definitely hope we get a flashback. There's a lot of people that want a God Valley instant. Yeah, this just hypes up God people more, and now we know why he was heralded the name, the hero of the Marines. It's because of this very incident right here. Also because he saved celestial dragons. But the hype builder doesn't end there because Roger will come up again in this episode. So after that blockbuster announcement by Sengoku, then we go into the present and they have to bring up the situation about because Big Mom and Kaido, they were once at each other's throats, but now they've formed an alliance. So now they have to bring up the situation about the bounties. I do find it interesting to mention how the Shishibukai, they've had bounties established now, but they have no choice but to go after them. But we don't get to find out their bounty sums yet. So that's very interesting. So I really want to know what Boa Hancock and Mihawk's bounties are, especially. We know what Doflamingo's were, but there's a lot of Shishibukai we don't know much about when it comes to bounties. So they're the two we don't know about. Speaking of bounties, then we go into the hype building part when it builds up the Yonko. So Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach, his bounty, we found that out after Wano at 1. So we already know his bounty is 2,247,600,000 berry bounty. Then we go to Shanks, and I like how they're describing Shanks. First off, he's the youngest Yonko out there. He's only been a Yonko for 6 years, but they're also hyping up his crew. Like they have the highest average bounty out of any of the crews. I'm wondering if that involves any of the young crews under Yonko as well. But yeah, they're undefeated. They have the highest balance of any crew. So that just hypes up the crew, not just Shanks, even more. But so Shanks' bounty is 4,048,900,000 berry bounty. So that leaps Blackbeard. But again, bounties don't always equal power. So then we go over to Big Mom. So Big Mom's bounty is at 4,388,000,000. So that's higher than so Kaido's bounty is 4,611,100,000. So he's the highest bounty of the Yonko right now. Remember how we got after Whole Cake Island, how Luffy's bounty and Katakuri's bounties seemed like a big deal? Yeah. So this is big league territory now with the Yonko. Luffy's going to have to do leaps after Wano. I don't know how much his bounty is going to shoot up by, but that's not the only bounties we get revealed. Oh no. So if it wasn't enough that the Yonko's bounties get revealed, the current Yonko, then we get the legends of One Piece. First off, we get Whitebeard. So Whitebeard's impressive amount stands to 5,046,000,000. 5,046,000,000. So that's nuts. And then finally, after all this time, after we finally get the reveal of Gold D. Roger, the King of the Pirates bounty. So Roger's bounty was at 5,564,800,000. So that's the highest bounty in One Piece. Obviously, that's going to be the milestone that Luffy may surpass by the end of the series. We'll have to wait and see. It's mentioned that if Big Mom and Kaido have formed an alliance, their total bounties combined surpass Whitebeard and Roger. So that's crazy to think about. So they need to know about the history when it comes to like the marine side of things, especially when it comes to God. That's huge. So God doesn't really talk about it all that much. So the fact that it's coming from Sengoku, he's the one hyping him up. Because Akainu comes in, and he's like talking about what's going on Wano. We're not going to Wano according to Akainu. So no, because we have to deal with, I guess they have to deal with the Shishibukai now. So that's a problem. Sengoku says they're not going to Wano anyway. Then the conversation between all these pirates, the big league pirates that's current now, the worst generation, the Yonko, Big Mom and Kaido, why they're all gathering in one place. They make a statement about Kazuki Oden, but we know he's dead, so Sengoku says it can't be just a coincidence that all these big league pirates are here all in one place. So yeah, there's definitely something going on. And it ends with, and then we end the episode with the Oro Jackson and Goldie Roger. And the reason why we're going into the past is because it's big indicators where the beginning of One Act focuses on is going to be focused on the past. So, and obviously if you saw the preview, we are going into One Act 3 next episode. So the world building aspect's done. We're into One Act 3. The Straw Hats look awesome in their armor, especially Luffy, Chopper, and Brooks. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, this was all about the hype of the Yonko and the hype of Garp and the Rocks Pirates as well, which I want to leave you off with this because there was actually a theory that came out once this came out in the manga. There's a lot of people, and I heard this theory from Sawyer 7 Major when this came out. So apparently, because of the bounties of the Yonko, so the bounties that we get revealed for the Yonko, there's a few people that made this theory like if you reverse the order of the highest to lowest, so I'm bringing up, so if you reverse the order, so it's going to be the order of which each Yonko fall or die. So let me give you an example of this. So I didn't even think about this, so I have to give credit to those who did. First off, you had Goldie Roger. He was the first to die. He got executed. Then there was Whitebeard. He died at Marineford. Following that is Kaido's bounty. He's the highest Yonko right now. But there's a lot of people that think that Kaido's bounty signifies that he's going to be the first Yonko, current Yonko, to go down. Then follows Big Mom. In the order of entry, that Luffy's going to have to take down Big Mom as well at some point. After Big Mom comes Shanks, and the reason Shanks comes first is because we know for a fact that Blackbeard is going to be one of the final villains for Luffy at the end of the series. So you would have Kaido, then Big Mom, Shanks, then BB, then you'd have Luffy. And I didn't mention that because Luffy, technically speaking, isn't a Yonko, although he's heralded by Morgans as the fifth Emperor. But if you take that order as well, yeah, that's the theory that popped up. So the order of entry of which the Yonko fall, obviously Roger and Whitebeard have already died. Then you'd have Kaido, then Big Mom, Shanks, Blackbeard, followed by Luffy to end the series. So yeah, that's an interesting theory. It could be true, it could be not. So that's just something that came out when this came out in the manga. There's a lot of hype. Again, the fact they highlighted God Valley, claim that it's been destroyed without a trace, I don't think that's going to be the case unless you go back to it. You would not have shown that if it's gone off the map. So it was shown for a reason. We could see it again, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, ultimately, last episode we got, and even though the animation wasn't as great, still greatly as important as it was last episode, with the reveal of the Yonko bounties finally, and the reveal of the God Valley incident, as well as the hype of God. And we get back into One Act 3 next episode, so I can't wait for that. Let me know what you guys think down below. I thought it was a great episode. Highlights the great aspects of One Piece, that's the world building. But now we get back into One Act 3. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.